The evening of June the 1st, 2001, the Nepalese royal family gather for a party. 3 generations of royalty and their closest friends are looking forward to a relaxed, informal evening. The host is Crown Prince Dipendra. Among his guests are his parents, the King and Queen of Nepal, the Queen Mother and his cousins. There is Dipendra's younger sister, Princess Shruti, and his younger brother, Prince Nirajan. Altogether, the exclusive royal guests number 22. But within little more than 1 hour from their arrival, most of these people will be lying dead or wounded in the bloodiest slaying of any royal family ever recorded. It was an act so horrific that it plunged the country into mourning, spawned a host of conspiracy theories, and eventually resulted in the political turmoil which shook Nepal in the spring of 2006. At the heart of this shattering event was the Crown Prince himself. What was going through his head on this fatal evening? What influences were at work? Why did it end in tragedy? The party, being hosted by Prince Dipendra, the Crown Prince of Nepal, is part of a family tradition in which they all try to meet up twice a month. It's 3 minutes to 8 and all of Dipendra's immediate family are present, except for his uncle, Gyanendra.
Darshan. Nice to see you. What can I fix you?
Well, I think a cook would be lovely.
Oh, great.
His younger sister, Princess Shruti, has arrived with her husband, Kumar.
The first and the third Fridays, there would be family gatherings.
Just a little bit of ice.
And it was just like a normal Friday, a dinner party. And the Crown Prince was there serving drinks to everyone.
And Kumar? One of these?
Just a small one.
All right, coming up right away. Help yourself to some nibbles.
Sure.
There's an open buffet later on.
Thank you.
Invitations to these gatherings are usually arranged at the last minute. But Dipendra's cousin remembers that the Crown Prince had wanted to know several days in advance if she would attend.
This one else for you.
He said, will you be there? Should I say you will be there? And that was the only unusual thing. But of course, I didn't think much about it until after the whole incident was over. And I started to wonder then, I mean, if it was all planned.
Just excuse me for a few moments, right?
Dipendra has an important member of the family to go and collect. She is the matriarch of the dynasty, the Queen Mother. Dipendra is close to his grandmother, and the short drive to pick her up provides him with a break from entertaining, which has become more of a chore than a pleasure. Earlier in the evening, the frustrations of being Crown Prince had played on his mind. Because for many years, Dipendra has been wanting to marry a girl whom he has fallen in love with. Devyani Rana comes from a wealthy background far exceeding even that of the Nepalese royal family. Devyani is the great-granddaughter of the last Rana Prime Minister of Nepal, who wielded more power than the monarchy, and a man not fondly remembered by the Queen's family. Devyani's mother comes from an extremely rich and influential Indian family. For Dipendra's parents, these connections have the potential to inflame bitter memories, and so Devyani is not seen as a suitable future wife for their son. The Queen Mother shares this view.
Has everybody arrived already?
All except father. He's working again over in the office. He'll be late.
In one attempt to sabotage the marriage plans, the Queen Mother summoned the royal astrologer. Without any scientific proof, he foresaw that Devayani Rana would be unlikely to produce a male heir, and suggested that Dipendra end the relationship. He had no such intention.
They're waiting for you.
Oh, lovely. I'll meet them there in the annex. It can get a little noisy with your young ones in the billiard room.
Dipendra has all his family around him. But the one person who is most important to him, Devayani Rana, is not allowed to be there.
Hello?
It's me.
Oh, well, that's a surprise. I'm already getting ready to go out.
What do you mean going out?
Sanjay and Shilpa, dinner, remember? Anyway, let me know what time you'll be along, yeah?
I can't just come and...
Okay, fine, just take your time. Just let me know what time you'll come,
Of course I can't. Have you got any idea what that would mean? I'm here with 20 guests. I have my whole family here.
Not again, Dippy. Family, family, family. I thought you were going to join us for dinner tonight. When are you going to get out of there and just get a life of your own? He seems in a real foul mood.
Dipendra is feeling cornered. His way out will shock his family, his nation, and the world.
There you go. There's your...
Prince Dipendra, the Crown Prince of Nepal, is entertaining his closest family at his residence within the royal palace. Of all his relations, Dipendra is closest to his cousin, Paras.
Ah, there you are. What do you want?
Paras lives above the law. His hit-and-run driving once killed 2 motorists. Then, he shot a bouncer in one of Kathmandu's nightclubs. No charges were brought.
Cheers.
Paras is Dipendra's only confidant.
What happened with the talk with your parents?
Oh, nothing. We've just been talking about the marriage. I spoke to mother and grandmother about it and this and no. I'll speak to His Majesty on Sunday about it.
No one yet realizes quite how much Dipendra has been drinking.
My shot? Go in the pocket. Bad luck.
Kumar Gorak is alarmed by Dipendra's behavior.
All of a sudden, the crown prince started shooting out of turn and started saying, "Oh, I'm getting drunk."
Losing my aim a bit.
And just like all of a sudden, he went over to a sofa and sitting there.
Get me some of the specials. I'm in the billiards room. As soon as you can. There you go. Ah, thank you.
Normally, he just smoked marijuana and hash, or a mixture of that in a cigarette.
Although Dipendra is 29 years old, it is not considered proper for him even to smoke a cigarette in front of his parents or elders. But this evening, Dipendra will abandon all inhibitions. Most of the guests are unaware of Dipendra's condition. His cousin Paras decides that they should try to put him to bed.
I'm fine.
Carried him on the shoulders across like this. And I was at the back because his legs were dragging.
Dipendra appears to be incapacitated. But when Paras asks for his gun belt, Dipendra's reply sounds coherent, and Kumar begins to wonder if it's all been an act.
Better just take it easy, okay? I'll take your gun belt off.
I'm not wearing one today.
It came across pretty clear to me when he said, "No, I'm not carrying anything today." There was no slurring or dragging of speech, as one would normally speak when one would be drunk. In hindsight, it appears that maybe he wasn't really drunk as he made himself out to be.
As Paras leaves Dipendra's joints, he spots an open drawer.
Better remove these. Why bother?
At the party, Dipendra's departure hasn't gone unnoticed.
Perhaps it's an allergic reaction to something.
May well be. He was perfectly fine when I was talking to him earlier.
Maheshwar Singh, Dipendra's great-uncle, had been the first guest to arrive.
He was in excellent mood. Very pleasant, nice. I mean, no signs of any drunkenness. Nothing at all. He was perfectly all right. Then he took me to the bar. He showed me the drinks and asked me what I would like to have.
What would you want?
I'll take a scotch.
Ah, good choice. That's what I'm drinking.
His Royal Highness poured me one,
Some ice?
Yes.
and he showed me his glass, which was half empty, and he said he was also having famous grouse.
Cheers.
At that point, General Ravi, my brother-in-law, he walks in. He was the second man to arrive. And he was also asked to have a drink.
Some scotch for you?
Oh, sure.
Dipendra is well known for being able to handle his drink. But now, just 1 hour later, he's barely conscious when Devyani rings him back.
No.
Hello? Dippy? Dippy? I can't hear you. I mean, you're kind of sounding strange. You don't seem like you're in the party. Are you?
Oh, let me sleep.
Dippy, can you tell me where?
Dipendra's unanswered calls go automatically to the palace security office.
ADC office.
Hi, this is Devyani Rana. I've been talking to the Crown Prince on phone, but he doesn't sound very well. You know, his voice was kind of slurred. Can you just please do me a favor? Can you just go and check on him and let me know if he's all right?
I will send someone up to see him right away.
Let us help you out with this one. You'll be more comfortable.
In the annex room next door to the party, the king joins the queen and the queen mother, who are having drinks with the older ladies.
Perfect timing. We were just getting ready to make a toast to the Queen Mother.
Ladies.
Excuse me, Your Highness. The Crown Prince has been taken to his bed. He's not well. 2 orderlies are taking care of him. I think it may be the drink, Your Highness.
All right. Thank you.
But please excuse us. I think we'll go and join the fray now. Yes. Come.
It's the big button on the left that says on. I know that.
He didn't drink that much. Did he?
He has a lot on his mind at the moment.
It's okay. I'll be fine. You can both go back to your rooms and get some sleep.
As well as his drinking, Dipendra is known to smoke large quantities of hashish. But few realized that for a year, he'd also been taking antidepressants. Doctors have been alerted to Dipendra's inability to respond well to stress, his lack of exercise, fluctuating body weight, and a fear of growing prematurely old. Dipendra was already a lifetime away from the aspirations of his happy childhood growing up in the palace.
I knew His Royal Highness the Crown Prince from very young, when he was 5 years old. And he was one of the most charming and outgoing person. He was bright. In every subject, he was so clued up that you couldn't win him in any debate or any argument. He was like that.
Prince Dipendra was conscious of the power he held.
Crown Prince was running around the pond, and I was afraid that he might slip and fall down into the water. So I said, Royal Highness, don't do it, because you might fall down. But he didn't listen. And at that time he said, no, you can't order me. General, he said, General, you can't order me.
At 16, following in his father's footsteps, Prince Dipendra enrolled at Eton in England to complete his secondary education.
Many years previously, I'd been asked to be the King's tutor, and as a result of that, his father thought he would like to send his son to Eton and he'd like him to come to my house. So that's how that really came about.
As well as his studies, Dipendra excelled at karate and became captain of the team. He never lost a match. In 1990, riots broke out in Kathmandu when India imposed an economic blockade, bringing great hardship to Nepal. Queen Aishwarya thought that her husband should take a tougher stance and asked for Dipendra to return home.
I remember Dipendra, during these troubles, receiving a fax from his mother. And this really indicated to Dipendra that she was quite keen for him to come and really prop up his father, because she felt that the king was giving away too much of his power. And I think she felt possibly that he might even take over the reins.
But she underestimated the respect Dipendra had for his father.
Dipendra was absolutely appalled. He was so loyal to his father, so loving of his father, so loving of the nation, that he said to me, if I ever hear anything like this again, I'm going to really sever connections with my mother, because I could not bear to in any way affect my father.
His father, King Birendra, gave in to the riots and took the first steps to usher in democracy. Dipendra was 19 years old and ready to stride out into adulthood. He wanted to marry his teenage sweetheart, Supriya Shah, a great niece of the Queen Mother. But the Queen decided that they were too young and disallowed the marriage. With no specific role to fulfill, Dipendra set out on a military career. His unbending sense of duty captured in a poem he wrote.
Left bonds of love and affection, having duty understood. If needed, soaked in blood, be ready to fight I would. To flames reduce, will lightning halt, spray with blood I will. On this uniform, the country's vermilion, shake this earth I will.
In 1995, while in England, Dipendra was introduced to Devyani Rana. She swept him off his feet. But without the royal stamp of approval, their affair had to continue in secret. As the years passed, everyone in Kathmandu would learn of their charade. But Devyani was not an easy catch even for a crown prince. Her sophisticated coolness began to expose Dipendra's instabilities. He became so desperate to marry her that he even threatened to poison himself should she refuse him. But Dipendra's greatest anxiety came from his family. They knew that he was likely to disobey them and try to marry Devyani, but they also knew that they could always cut off his allowance, leaving him penniless. Dipendra is trapped. The elders of the royal family are all aware of Dipendra's agony, but there appears to be no obvious compromise.
I'm having a talk with him this Sunday. Perhaps that will at least clear the air. He wasn't exactly forthcoming at lunch today. And he just sat in silence at tea this afternoon.
But then he had this evening to think about, so...
He's sulking. You know how young people are. They want everything to happen in an instant.
If only it was that simple. In my experience, these things just never go away.
Hi.
I tried to call you. Where are you, Dippy? You don't pick up my phone.
I know.
They told me you were resting, but I didn't believe them. You know I don't like it when it gets this way. It worries me. It bothers me, Dippy. Why are you doing this to yourself?
Okay. I think I'm off to sleep now. So I'll say good night. We'll talk tomorrow.
Good night, Dippy.
Dipendra has one other passion: guns. He was given his first pistol on his 8th birthday and has collected them ever since. He has access to the palace armory and keeps his own collection in his room. He is an excellent shot, better than any of his guards.
It would be very correct to say that he was obsessed with the weapon. You know. He wanted to excel on everything what he did.
As well as enjoying computer gunfights, Dipendra even designed the perfect gun. And the royal family and palace staff are used to hearing him practicing or shooting birds in the palace grounds at night. Gunfire is a sound that no one takes any notice of anymore.
Go get the bird. Hurry up.
I knew he liked guns, and he talked about guns a lot. That was his favorite topic, and I also knew he was a good shot, and he trained himself to use both hands.
At 8:45 p.m., the king leaves the Queen Mother's annex and joins the party in the billiard room.
How are you?
Oh, very well. Would you like me to carry the bag tonight, Your Highness?
No, that won't be necessary tonight.
For the Nepalese royal family, time is running out. Inside the billiard room, King Birendra is surrounded by most of his immediate family and closest friends.
It's become a family problem now.
Everyone thinks that Crown Prince Dipendra has taken to his bed.
Could you please give me my cigar, please? But you know, the one with the motorcycle chase? I like that much better.
You don't want to join the disco at the top end? Someone is trying to ring.
Kidnap one tourist and we are fucked.
They run and hide in the hell village.
It's always like this before the monsoon.
It's sure to break soon. And then it will be the rain that wakes up.
And then the innocents suffer. And you know what that leads to?
I think I was the first person who saw him come in with a gun in each hand.
Really?
I wasn't told it was a fancy dress.
Maybe he's carrying these weapons to show them to His Majesty.
Oh. I felt he was dressed up to go with the guns, kind of. I mean, that's what I thought.
And then the whole world hears about it. And then, bang goes the tourist.
Suddenly I hear somebody coming behind me. I turned around over my shoulder and looked, and found to my surprise that this was His Royal Highness with an automatic rifle in his right hand and dressed in army fatigue.
Hey, what's up? What's all this?
Suddenly I hear bang, bang.
Just wait.
It was such a shock when he lifted the gun and shot at his father. And his father took 2 or 3 bullets.
What have you done?
That's when he dropped the gun. And that was the only time in that evening when he was slightly vulnerable. If somebody had grabbed him at that time, then I think it would have ended. But everyone was dazed. Nobody could react.
Captain Rajiv Shahi, a trained military doctor, tries to stem the flow of blood with his jacket. Next door, the Queen Mother doesn't know what's happening.
There is firing going on.
Oh, it's him again, shooting cats and crows. But anyway.
Dipendra returns the shotgun to the bag and selects a pistol and an M16 automatic machine gun. Inside, most of the royal family believe the gun must have gone off by accident. No one is prepared when Dipendra re-enters the room.
The Crown Prince re-entered the room and he went where His Majesty was lying and was going to shoot him again.
Enough.
Prince Dhirendra, the king's brother, tries to end the violence.
Now give me that gun.
He shot him point blank. He literally flew and landed a couple of feet back.
His uncle Kumar Khadga is the next victim. His wife, Princess Sharada, runs to his side.
I watched him kill Princess Sharada. It was horrible. I've never ever had to live through anything this horrible.
It was as if he knew exactly who he was shooting at, you know, it was so focused and just going boom, boom.
Just 1 year earlier, at his 29th birthday party, after the eldest had left, Dipendra had vowed that he would allow no one to obstruct his marriage plans.
You are either for me or against me. Anyone not in favor of my plans or what I want to do can leave now. I mean what I say. I'll kill anyone, any of you, if you so much as stand in my way.
It was a threat no one could take seriously until his younger sister, Princess Shruti, who was pregnant at the time, spoke out against him.
You cannot talk to your own family like this. It's not about threats. How can you be so selfish? And what do you know about marriage anyway? I know!
Is Dipendra carrying out the threat as he had promised?
everyone would try to reason with them as to why he would be marrying this girl, or why he should continue the traditions of the family. All of them were targeted, I believe.
Kumar becomes the next victim.
When our eyes met, I thought for a second maybe he was hesitating. But then the next thing I know, I had been hit.
What was that? Better check it out right away.
At first, the security staff are alerted by shouts coming from Dipendra's residence. Dipendra's younger sister, Princess Shruti, now lies within his sights.
And he aimed at my wife. He shot her. And I actually felt her strength give way.
Kumar believes his time is up.
He was out there spraying bullets like a madman.
Oh, so I can hear shots. All units, immediately. Emergency
Only
all
now
units.
does the palace security realize there's a crisis. Maheshwar Singh takes a chance and runs for cover to the far end of the room.
Actually, I pretended as if I was hit or, I purposely played that, yes. That was the whole idea.
His brother-in-law, Rabbi Shamshir, follows him. Still conscious, King Birendra sees an opportunity to end the massacre and shoot his own son. But his sister, Princess Shobha, stops him.
That's enough! We had enough violence! No!
Just the cruelty. I remember seeing His Majesty just lift his hand and stop it sort of a thing. But he sprayed with more bullets.
Dr. Rajiv Shahi is the only person able to escape. Leaving his wife at the far end of the room, he manages to flee through a window. It takes the security forces precious minutes to reach the billiard room. Prince Paras's mother, Princess Komal, becomes the next target. Miraculously, she will survive. But the king's sister, Princess Shanti, is killed immediately.
Down, just lie down.
Dipendra's second cousin, Princess Jayanti, tries to call for help.
Still, it gives me the creeps when I remember his face. He really looked exactly like the Terminator 2. Absolutely expressionless, but very concentrated. And it's his look that frightened me more, actually, than being shot at. You have to kill the animal. I mean, you don't leave something just wounded. I think because the blood went all over my face and my head, I think he thought he had killed me also.
Commandos fail to gain access at one end of the billiard hall, causing further delay. Prince Paras, Dipendra's closest friend, and his young cousins are trapped at one end of the room.
No, brother. No, brother. No. What are you doing? Please. Just go from here. You're the only ones here.
No. No, please.
I saw him go out into the garden. Then I saw the Queen go after him.
Stop. Please
And
stop.
then I saw Nirajan rushing after her too.
Don't
I
go
even called out to
after
Isa,
him.
don't.
Stop!
The Queen and Dipendra's younger brother, Prince Nirajan, try to confront him.
Out there.
Military units finally gain access to the room. Prince Paras takes command.
First take their majesties, then take the injured. Leave the dead for now.
King Birendra is still alive.
Escort these people out. Where's the majesty?
The king's brother, Prince Dhirendra, lies paralyzed.
I know it's difficult. I know you're in pain. But help is on its way. We'll soon take you to the hospital. Just try and keep on top of it, okay?
You are my son! Why are you doing this? Why?
Brother! Brother, that's enough, brother! No!
Stop him! He was your younger brother! What are you trying to prove? Are you possessed? Listen to me, are you possessed? What are you trying to do?
Left bonds of love and affection, having duty understood. If needed, soaked in blood, be ready to fight I would. To flames reduce, will lightning halt, spray with blood I will. On this uniform, the country's vermilion, shake this earth I will.
A single bullet to the side of his head brings Crown Prince Dipendra to the ground and an end to the violence. 13 members of the Nepalese royal family now lie dead or wounded.
He shot himself. He shot himself.
What about Her Majesty and Prince Nirajan?
Prince Nirajan's been shot. And so has the Queen.
Dipendra shot His Majesty the King. And all the others.
What are you talking about?
No, you mustn't. No, please.
It is a tragedy which will have far-reaching consequences. But an event so extraordinary, no one will ever believe it. King Birendra is rushed to the military hospital in Kathmandu. Although he has multiple wounds, he is still alive, but only just.
Quickly, quickly, bring him in here, quickly. This way, come. Get some more oxygen, quick. He's lost a lot of blood. This is not looking good. What's your reading?
King Birendra was the nicest, kindest person I've ever met in my life.
Check his pulse.
In Nepal, they say he is a reincarnation of Vishnu, and I think he really was.
I'm afraid there's no hope.
At 9:15 p.m., King Birendra is pronounced dead. The lifeless bodies of Queen Aishwarya and Prince Narayan are delivered to the trauma ward. Princess Shruti died within minutes of her arrival. She was only 25 and left behind 2 daughters.
I did see them carry my wife's body away from the trauma room, I guess, to the moratorium. I've lost somebody I was going to spend the rest of my life with. And for my daughters especially, they have lost a mother.
Kumar Khadga and Princess Sharada, Princess Shanti and Princess Jayanti were all declared dead on arrival. The king's brother, Dhirendra, was soon to die in hospital. The following day, Saturday the 2nd of June 2001, the country of Nepal woke up to the tragic news. The royal victims were cremated that day. But Crown Prince Dipendra was still alive and placed on a mechanical ventilator. As his family was cremated, he was proclaimed king.
I felt betrayed that after doing so much damage to the family and to the country, that they made him king. I felt very betrayed.
Dipendra reigned for just 2 days. At 3:45 p.m. on June the 4th, he died. The single bullet through his head had left a gaping wound. Since Dipendra was right-handed, it would become a matter of speculation as to why he should have shot himself with his left hand, and why 2 bullets had been fired from his pistol. An autopsy was never carried out, and later Dipendra's residence where the tragedy took place was razed to the ground. Turning down Scotland Yard's offer of a forensic investigation, the royal family issued a cover-up statement claiming that the accident was caused by an automatic weapon going off. No one in Nepal believed this explanation.
This point could be seen as the point at which the Nepalese public began to fall out with its monarchy in a terminal kind of way because of the palace's assumption that it could tell the public what to think and the public would then think it, which has been tested to breaking point ever since, and the Nepalese public now refuse to believe what the king tells them.
When Gyanendra, who had been absent from the party, became king, he was treated with mistrust. Without any evidence, most Nepalese believe Gyanendra had engineered the attack, even though his wife narrowly escaped death and his son forced to plead for his life. Another commonly held belief is that Dipendra was shot, not by himself, but by one of the palace guards. We will never know. No one is prepared to talk. In either event, The evidence does not point at a conspiracy, but to a personal catastrophe, which would weaken the monarchy and strengthen the march to democracy.
I've never, ever had to live through anything this horrible. But the thing is, I'm glad I was there. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I might have been like the rest of the people of Nepal, found it impossible to believe.